Okay, hello everyone. We're doing another oil pastel today, so you should have all 12 colors again. This one is a nice, serene, calm image of a little lake here. So we're gonna get started with a sketch. It'll just be drawing the horizon line, this moon here, and a little bit of these clouds. You can't really see. If I zoom in, maybe you can see it a little bit better. But there's some clouds up here at the top. So we can take our pencil and start sketching. First thing I would sketch is definitely this middle line over here. It's perfectly right across the middle. So very lightly. The lighter, the better. And then you can sketch the moon over here. Oh, it's moving. It's about a little bit above halfway. And the next thing to sketch would be this boat over here. It's kind of just pointy little needle that's not too low, but not too close to the edge either. And the edge of this goes over the moon if you drag the line down. So we're gonna move it to the right a little bit. And the bottom of the boat is flat. And I think that's mostly all that we need to sketch. We can leave everything else. Don't need to sketch this or the water because we will draw that in with the oil pastel. So just sketch the boat, horizon line, and the moon. That's it. Unless you want to sketch other things. Okay, so once your sketch is done, the first color that we'll be using is blue and white. So just blue and white. We're going to start with the sky. For the blue, we can start with very top. We can go over all of this. You know what? Let's just use blue and shade all the way down. Not too hard, but like this, all the way down to the middle over here. And also go around the moon. Actually, before we even shade in the whole sky, there's these tiny clouds that I really want to capture in the image. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the pencil, not the pencil, sorry, the oil pastel, and just sketch in the outline of these clouds. Does not have to be exact. It just follows and goes around the moon. So everything up here will be the lighter blue clouds, and everything below here will be the sky. Okay, and the next step would be to define this blue. So what we're going to do is we're going to press really hard below these lines. So inside, I'm going to press really hard using this blue because I want to create this nice edge. On top of that, we'll use a little bit of white, but that's for later. So you can color all of this in, press really hard. So now after I filled in the blue, I'm going to press hard and then slowly fade off to create a gradient. So pressing hard, then let it fade off. And when we're filling this bottom part down, you want to start softly and then press hard when you get to the bottom. Do a reverse, the opposite. I find it easier to start dark and end lighter. So if that's also easier for you, one thing you can do is flip it upside down and then start from the top and then work your way up here. Whatever is easiest for you. You can even start from the bottom and then lighten the way up. Okay, and the next step will be to lightly shade in the blue in the clouds up top. So like this. The cloud can be as light as you want. We just want to keep the edge. So try not to blend the edge when we go in later with the white. And the top of the sky is a little bit darker. So you can make the top darker. And if you're already done this step, the next step is to take the white and start blending in the clouds, being very careful around the edge over here, because if we blend it, it'll just look like very smooth, but it would look nice if you could keep the sharp edge just like here in the clouds. So take your white and start blending out the clouds. Start wherever you'd like. It will look a little bit lighter than the image. So when I get to the edge, I'm going to take the edge of my crayon And slowly get to the edge and not blend too much of the dark blue. And there's a little bit of yellow on my crayon, but it's okay. But I'm gonna wipe it off on the towel over here. And if you see there's all of this residue on the crayon, you can wipe it off. One thing I like to do with it is I wipe it off on the sheet of paper and then I blend it in so it creates a nice little texture. I'm just wiping it on back into the paper and I'm blending it out again. And now that I'm looking at this, let's make it a little bit darker, but not completely blue. The reason why we're keeping some of the white space is because there's some slight pinks and purples and also greens, what we call accent colors that we can add in later to give it an old photograph effect, almost like the picture is faded in time. So just make this a little bit darker. I'm going in up and down direction now, so it's not completely left to right. And then once you think it's dark enough, you can go back in with the white and start blending all of this in. Whatever pattern you want. I am going in small circles. I'm just taking the white and blending the blue around the moon just a little bit to create a glowing moon effect. Okay, and once you've blended out the sky using the white, we can put the white away and take out the purple. So the next color we'll be using is purple, and what we're going to do with it is just to make the horizon a little bit darker, and also add some of this darkness up in the sky over here. So with the purple, I'm going to start at the bottom just to test out the color. So take the purple and just press along the line. And this part is going to be a lot of blending. So we're going to take the purple and just lightly go across the bottom edge and create a small row of purple. Not pressing too hard, I just want the color in there. And of course, we will blend it out using the blue. So once you have the purple, we'll blend it out using the blue. So just bring the color. You can go from left to right and then go up, or you can go in circles. And you're going to do the same with the top of the clouds. First, do a little test color. That's pretty good. And then you can drag it across the top. For the clouds, you don't want it too dark, but definitely have some of that purple come back down. And then blend it out using the blue. Oh, okay, hold on. And if you think I made a mistake here, so I'm going to use my towel, just wipe it away. And if the blue is a little too dark in some areas, you can always take your white, go back and blend it. So I'm using the little stump of white, just blending out the blue. And after this step, most of the sky will be done, and then we can move into the water and the boat. Okay, and the next step will be the yellow that's in the water, that's reflecting the moon. We won't be using yellow directly. We'll use a combination of different colors, and I'll show you what they are. So take your peach, which is this pinkish color. Just gonna peel all that away. It's your peach, yellow, and white. So those are the three colors for the reflection in the water. So the first color we'll be using is this peach. We're going to sketch the outlines of the yellow. So we're going to take the peach and just imagine a line going down from the moon and go around it. We're just doing this edge that comes down over here. This part's a little bit, it can be quite difficult to grasp. But if you think about it, there's in the sea, in the water, there's this blue, and then there is also this almost gray color, this green, and then there's the yellow. Right now we're doing the green part because we will blend this with the blue later. So just create a strip of white that goes down the middle. That's where the yellow will go. Right down the middle. You can even put a pencil down here and then go around it shape does not have to be exact, and it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So we can just stop right here. So that was the peach color. And then the next step is to fill in the center with this yellow. If you really want the yellow to be very saturated, then you can press really hard, or you can shade it in. Make sure it is clean. So I'm going to wipe the crayon on my towel again. And I'm gonna just gonna go in the middle right here. And then it kind of fades away, just like the peach. This also means you can color in the moon using the yellow, but it is not too yellow. I would maybe add some yellow specks here and there, and then blend it out using a white. But first clean the white. Being very careful not to bring the blue in because it could turn the moon green, which is fine. Okay, and the next step is to start filling in the water. So I'm gonna put the yellow away and everything else. For this one, we're going to need blue. And also maybe keep the peach, because if we look at this blue, it's a little bit more green than the blue up here. So we can't just use this. It'll feel like one image. So that's why we use this. The yellow in this crayon will make this blue look green. But anyways, let's get into the water. So the first thing I would do is to fill out this entire section, but also you could sketch out where the darker parts And this is the sand, I think. So you can sketch a little corner just of this sand that's coming through the bottom. Just very, very randomly. And if it makes it clear, what I'm doing is I'm just defining this edge over here. That's what I'm doing using the blue. So everything in this area will be completely shaded in. And don't worry about the boat. You can go over it because later we'll use black to draw all the details. So I'm going to take my blue now and start pressing really hard and color in this entire section over here. And then fill all of this in. When you get to the edge of this, you want to keep your strokes pretty light because we'll start blending it in later. But for all of this, everything color it really dark. Okay, and I'm gonna stop there with the blue. And then take the peach again and start blending the blue inwards. So we're going to take the peach and bring the blue into the reflection. Being careful not to touch the yellow. Just taking the blue and moving it in. Do the same on the other side. Okay, now I'm gonna move this peach over to the right side a little bit because this is a little bit too much to the left. Don't know about yours, but I am just going to use this peach color and start blending in the blue on this side. This will make the blue look a little bit more green, almost like an aqua color, which is what we want. And you can do the same for the other side, leaving the edge mostly blue. And also on this part as well, blend it out using the peach. Just add a little bit of that yellowish pink to the water to make it different from the sky. So yeah, just keep blending out the water, making sure there's no little holes. If you want, you can keep the holes for an effect, but I like to just get rid of them. And before we move on to the sand over here, you can take your white and just blend out any of the white spots in the reflection. We do this because the holes, although they look white and are fine, sometimes you can get color in them and it'll be permanent because the first layer of oil pastel is what establishes the base color. You can always add color on top of something, but if it's directly on paper, that color is almost permanent. So we're just filling out the holes just in case any purple gets in there and then it's stuck there forever. So just fill out the holes with the white. Okay, and the next step is this dark sand. It is kind of a blue, kind of a green, and kind of a purple. So that's the colors we're going to use. We're going to use green, blue, and purple for the sand. The first color we will use is the green, and it will look very weird and out of place, but we will fill it in with the blue and purple later. So just take the green, you can color it in, not too dark, but enough so that the green is there. Just like that. Being very careful not to go into the blue. Okay, it does look weird now. It's just a base layer. Later, we're going to add blue for the second layer and then purple. So after you have your green, once all of this is done, you'll take your blue and blend it out. Okay, so take the blue and blend the green out. You want to fill all of the green using the blue. This will create a turquoise color, like that. All right, now we've blended all of that in. And then after this, you will take your purple and just go over this turquoise. It will make it darker, and I'll show you what it looks like. So also pressing hard, just like that. This part is going to create a lot of residue because we have 3 layers of different colors going on. So wiping frequently will help with that. after you've blended all of that out, we can move into the finer details, which is, first of all, there's these smaller patches of dark area. So above here, you can just take a purple, add a few lines in the water.
Hello, hello. We can see it. Yeah.
Sorry, I have some
it's
technical
missing.
difficulties. I'll be right back. I'm just joining again on my phone. Someone called me and then I don't know what happened.
No worries, no worries.
Recording in progress.
Oh God.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
There we go. Okay,
Okay.
let me flip the camera. That's not what I wanted.
Yay, you're back.
We're back. Okay. Anyways, we were at the purple and add a few lines on the bottom just for the ripples in the water. There's some over here too, but you can't see them because of the grass. You can still add them if you like. But that should be it for the finer details in the water. Before we actually use black, which is the final step, let's add a few accent colors in the sky. So I was talking about earlier using the peaches and maybe some of the yellows and just adding a little bit of color to this blue up here, just to create that sort of old photograph effect. This part is optional. So we're going to take the peach and just add a little bit of, it can be completely random, mostly in the lighter areas, just to give the blue some color. It's a bit hard to see. Let me just bring it closer. It's a little bit of a difference. But that should be it for the accent colors. Now we can move on to the fun part, which is drawing in, the leaves and the boat. So we're going to start with the boat. you want to do is you take your black and just hold it at an angle. So maybe not on the top, but just on the side, lay it flat. And basically you're just trying to find the edge of the crayon. So you want a fine line. The boat is a little bit in the middle, but it's closer to the right. So if it were in the middle, it would be here, but we're going to move it a little bit to the right. So it's about here. The edge goes over the moon. It's to the right of the moon, and the left is just about right there. Basically, however long this reflection is, it's about 2 times as wide. And as for the height, however tall the boat is also how far it is away from the horizon, roughly. So I'm going to start the boat over on this side. And then fill it in. And on top of that, there are also a few little people, 3 of them, sitting in the boat. How you draw the figures is up to you, but what I like to do is I dot the head. So wherever the head is, I create a little dot. Just a little dot. And then for the body, I just go left and right, wiggle all the way down, but making it wider at some points and then thinning it out, especially at the legs. So what I'm going to do is just kind of estimate where everything is. Once again, for the second figure, I'm going to draw a little dot for the head. That was a little big, but it's okay. And then sketch the body downwards. This one's holding a little paddle. So I'm going to pick the sharpest edge on my pastel, just draw a fine line. And then of course there's a reflection in the water. For that, I'd like to leave a little bit of blue between the reflection and the water. So I'm not going to color the reflection directly below the boat, but a little bit below it. And most of it is just the figures. So just right below this person over here, I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle the same distance. It's pretty light. So right below this one. You can also give the boat a little bit of a reflection as well. Not too much. And for the line that the boat is dragging across, so this faint purplish ripples, you can use the purple instead. Just to show that the boat is moving in one direction. And the final step, which is personally my favorite, is the leaves in the foreground. So we're going to take the black and make sure that you have an edge somewhere. So for this crayon, the edge is right here. You need the sharpest point when you're drawing the leaves, because sometimes the crayon can be very wide. So you can also create a fake edge if you take another sheet of paper and if you like sand an edge down and create an edge for yourself. Anyways, we're going to take the black and start with the leaves. I'm going to start with the tallest one here. And I'm just not putting anything on yet. I'm just looking at it and thinking, would it be good if it were here? It's like looking at it, imagine if the leaf were here. And once I think it's good, I'll make my first mark just like that. Just a small line. And make this as natural as possible. So if you're using your wrist, that's okay, but I'm using my whole arm. I'm dragging it across because that is how the plant grows. Just naturally add some of these finer details at the top. What I'm doing is I'm just pressing down and then flicking it across. Like hair. And always follow the direction of where the leaf is growing. So always go from the stem out. So this one, and I never usually go over a line that I've drawn more than twice, unless I need to make it thicker. The leaves get bigger when they're at the bottom. And when you get to the bottom, just kind of do whatever. It's completely random. So there's one plant done. There's many more to go, but you can add as many or few as you'd like. So now I'm just doing the second stem. And after this, we're pretty much done. But for future reference, if you want the leaves to be even thinner, you can use a pencil, or you could use even a pen, or a charcoal pencil would work too, I'm pretty sure. But that's because sometimes this can be very thick and hard to control. I think what else could we add? Maybe
I
we
have a
could.
question, Jane.
Yes.
If we want to make the reeds at the forefront here a little bit darker, we just need to press a little bit harder on the crayon, right? On the pastel.
Yeah.
Okay. Would it get thicker though if you do that?
It would get bigger for sure. So stuff like this over here, when I press hard, it would get bigger.
A little bit thicker, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And final touches you can do is you could make this horizon a little bit darker. One thing you could do is draw a black line across, just a very faint black line, and then blend it out using the purple. Just so we have that very clear horizon line. This is optional. Don't have to do this. Another step you can do is to make this part also a little bit darker. So I'm just shading in some black. And then later I'll blend it out with a purple. Be very careful because we've already added the reeds and the plants in the front. So I wouldn't want to go in here, but on the side is okay. And that's it. We're done for today.
Very, very beautiful.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, see your pictures, guys. Wow, very nice.
See, let me see, let me see.
Yeah, I know. Let me see, let me see. I want to see too. Ủa là nghe sao Yến?
Oh my God, you guys are.
Thành sau lần nó lên. Thank you, Jane. This
Thank
is a
you,
very,
guys.
very good lesson. Thank you, Jean. See you next week.
See you
you
guys
next
next week.
Bye-bye.
Ah, Lily Chen, very nice.
I have to show mine.
I know. Wow.
Did I turn it upside down? No.
Is the paper better? The paper?
No, the same. I mean, from far you're okay. Otherwise, you have to see a lot of residuals. I try to clean it up with wet cloth.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.